On this Wednesday night, the alarm is raised in Britain as a potentially deadly nerve agent makes a second appearance this year. Scotland Yard says 2 more people have come into contact with Novichok. That's what almost killed a former Russian spy and his daughter just months ago. Same substance, similar location, but who put it there?
Also tonight, rain could force the hand of rescuers trying to reach all those boys trapped in a cave in Thailand. We'll take you there.
And Hollywood faces a new cultural appropriation backlash. The focus of anger this time, a decision to cast Scarlett Johansson as a trans man when acting isn't just about playing a part. This is The National.
Something strange has happened in the UK, and once again, British police are stumped. Once again, 2 people have been poisoned. Once again, they are fighting for their lives. It all sounds so similar to the case of the Russian spies. And as Margaret Evans tells us, those echoes are eerie.
No one could have predicted it, and police certainly didn't when emergency services were called in after 2 people in the town of Amesbury fell ill over the weekend. Reports here suggest medical responders thought it was potentially drug-related. But this evening, after a day in which police descended on the English town and started cordoning off areas, the deputy head of Britain's counter-terrorism police confirmed otherwise.
We can confirm that the man and woman have been exposed to the nerve agent Novichok, which has been identified as the same nerve agent that contaminated both Yulia and Sergei Skripal.
Sergei Skripal is a former Russian spy who was living in Salisbury when he and his daughter Yulia were exposed to Novichok in March, the substance thought to have been delivered via Skripal's front door. The British government pointed the finger at Moscow, which has denied the allegations. Against the odds, both Skripals recovered after being treated at the Salisbury District Hospital, where the latest victims, named as Dawn Sturgis and Charlie Rowley, are also being treated. Amesbury is just 12 kilometres from Salisbury, and investigators are now searching for the link. The speculation is that the couple might have come into contact with the same batch of nerve agent used against the Skripals by chance. But that's just one theory. Police were asked if there is any evidence that the Amesbury couple had been deliberately targeted.
That is a theory, but it's speculation at the moment. I don't have any intelligence or evidence that they were targeted in any way. There is nothing in their background to suggest that at all.
The news will be extremely distressing to the people of Salisbury in particular, who've already endured months of disruption as police and decontamination work continued. Authorities urged residents who feared they might have been close to potentially contaminated areas to take precautions.
Wash your clothes and wipe down any personal items, shoes and bags with cleansing or baby wipes before disposing of them in the usual way.
The use of a military-grade nerve agent was confirmed by Britain's Porton Down Defence Lab, which also identified the Novichok use in March. Margaret Evans, CBC News, London.
From a national security standpoint, the idea that Novichok could turn up again on British soil is deeply disturbing. The very name in Russian means new. Novichok agents were relatively recent additions to Russia's stockpile, designed to work around international conventions banning more familiar chemical weapons, such as the nerve agent VX, which was used to kill Kim Jong-un's half-brother. Novichok is 5 times as potent as VX. Breathing it, ingesting it, even touching it could be deadly. There's still a lot that's mysterious about it, including how long it can linger. Here's a quick look at what else we're working on tonight on The National. A Quebec company that made steel for the rebuild of the World Trade Center is now feeling the bite of U.S. tariffs. Katie Simpson takes us there and finds out how emotional the trade spat can be for those directly affected.
Plus, Scarlett Johansson under fire again. First, she was slammed for playing a Japanese character. Now she's hitting the screen as a trans man. We tap into the conversation it sparked in the transgender community ahead.
But first, with rain coming in Chiang Rai, rescuers are in a race against the forecast. It's been nearly 2 weeks now. 12 boys and their soccer coach have been trapped in a cave in Thailand. Every day that goes by, is dangerous, and the concern below ground is matched by an intensity above. More than 1,000 people, all helping in different ways. Those are friends of the trapped boys expressing their support in music. An entire village of rescue divers, soldiers, and volunteers has sprung up around the cave, complete with cooks, barbers, even massage therapists. There is an urgency here. The water level in that cave is a matter of life and death, and it's the rainy season in Thailand. Clearly, the boys were happy to see rescuers, but they've got to be afraid. They're getting supplies, getting their strength back. They're also getting the basics on swimming and diving, but as David Common reports, there is nothing basic about the dive they'd have to pull off to get out of there, and time may not be on their side.
A big boost to the rescue effort came Wednesday with an unexpectedly dry day. Inside the vast cave system, halfway between the entrance and the boys, where rain normally pours in, that flow of water became a trickle. Heavy pumps then brought levels down precious centimeters. But there is a threat on the horizon. Heavy rain starting Friday will flood the cave system, making currents too strong for anyone, potentially even rescuers, to swim between their underground base and the boys' air pocket. Rescuers put out a nationwide call for these child-size full face masks.
Something like that, it's all integrated into one. It's got 5 straps instead of the single strap here. It's much more secure. Most people would be more comfortable diving for the first time in something like this.
And they've got communication too. Remember, none of the boys knows how to swim. So the plan developed involves them being pulled out using a guide rope that rescuers have installed. They also staged extra oxygen canisters, even underwater, throughout the caves for safety. Many have compared the Thai boys' experience to the rescue of Chilean miners 8 years ago. But there is a big difference. The miners needed only to get to an escape tube, whereas the boys need to work as much rescuer as victim, swimming from their larger air pocket through completely immersed areas, popping up in slim air pockets here at Pattaya Beach, then crawling through extremely narrow passages where removing the air bottles from their back may be necessary before reaching the still underground Monk's Junction, then a 30-meter ascent to the rescue base. But still not the exit. Even then, it's a steep climb out to a world they haven't seen in nearly 2 weeks. David Coleman, CBC News, Toronto.
And as David mentioned, the kids and the rescuers did get a break from the weather today, but more rain is coming. Slowly at first, there's a good chance they'll see at least 2 millimeters of rain over the next day or so. But then by Sunday, storms move in with more than 30 millimeters expected. And with each day that goes by, more rain, as far as forecasters can see. Now, here in Canada, another rescue operation we've been following took a tragic turn, turning into a recovery operation. Police confirmed that 3 young hikers who fell over a BC waterfall did not survive. This video is from just a couple hours ago. An RCMP team at the popular Shannon Falls, north of Vancouver, working to retrieve the 3 bodies. The group had been hiking yesterday when police say a young woman slipped into a pool fed by the falls. Her boyfriend and another young man jumped in to help, but all 3 were swept away. Police have not yet released their names. And Rosemary, you're following the latest in the ongoing war of words and actions on trade.
That's right, Andrew. Today, there was a dire warning from the World Trade Organization. It says tariffs, like the 25% the U.S. has imposed on Canadian steel, are having a real impact and could, in fact, derail the global economic recovery. In Quebec, one steel manufacturer is already feeling strained. The CBC's Katie Simpson paid them a visit.
The nearly empty floor is a devastating sight for workers at ADF Group. The Quebec-based steel producer has laid off 50 employees and is operating on a reduced schedule because of the trade dispute with the United States.
Well, currently the shop is, I'd say, slower than slow.
James Pesquini is the plant manager of the family-run business, and here the sting of U.S. tariffs landed a deep blow. The Trump administration says the measure is a way to protect American national security, and that hurts, given the type of work ADF Group has been a part of. This Canadian company produced the majority of the steel used for the outer structure and full antenna of the new World Trade Center, a symbol of American perseverance in the heart of Donald Trump's beloved New York City.
Being labeled now as a national security threat, yeah, I mean, it makes no sense. To us, it makes no sense. We feel kind of flustered. We feel kind of betrayed about that.
You can certainly feel that sentiment here on the shop floor, where there is a sense of anxiety. Pesquini has been holding a series of town hall meetings for his workers who keep asking him if their jobs are safe. He admits he doesn't have all of the answers right now, but he's doing what he can to keep morale up.
To prevent more layoffs, ADF Group is tapping into the federal government's work-share benefit program. Essentially, Ottawa tops up the salary of workers who are forced to go on a reduced schedule because of a downturn in business. The program is being expanded as part of Canada's overall steel industry aid package.
In the good times, how busy would this bay be?
Yeah, so this bay here, we wouldn't be able to walk where we're at right now.
Those good times are a memory for now, with the thought of more cuts leaving Pesquini speechless.
Yeah, well, that's it's probably the worst part of my job. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
It isn't all bad news here. Despite the uncertainty, ADF Group has landed a new U.S. contract, which will increase hours starting in September. Pesquini is hoping it will also increase morale on the floor while the trade dispute drags on. Katie Simpson, CBC News, Terrebonne, Quebec.
Canada has already filed a challenge with the WTO over U.S. steel and aluminum tariffs. Donald Trump, though, has made no secret of his distaste for the WTO, and he's found an interesting way to destabilizing it by blocking judicial appointments at its appellate body. That's a kind of Supreme Court for world trade disputes. It's supposed to be made up of 7 judges. It's currently down to 4, with another due to leave in September. And if it drops below 3 judges, it can no longer function and can't referee all those complaints about U.S. tariffs. And even the 4th of July party at the U.S. ambassador's official residence here in Ottawa isn't immune to the ongoing trade spat. The annual bash is a coveted Ottawa invite, drawing a who's who from the political and diplomatic community, but some who made the cut boycotted the event. NDP leader Jagmeet Singh and Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson among those publicly declining.
I'm not happy with the direction of the American government and their constant attacks on our country.
But for all the no-shows, hundreds did attend.
My philosophy is it's always better to talk. Yes, of course, there's some difficulties. You know what? Let's talk our way through them. And here we are.
And what better friends through the years than Canada and the United States?
For hostess Kelly Craft, the president's envoy to Canada, the moment was best marked with a beverage from her home state.
An enduring partnership that I am confident will stand the test of time. And believe me, these are testing times. I'm going to let you in on a little bit of a secret, however, that this is one test that gets a lot easier with a sip of good old Kentucky bourbon.
Which also happens to be on Canada's tariff list.
Okay, we are keeping tabs on a number of other developing stories tonight, including that deadly heat wave gripping southern Quebec.
I'm counting on Montrealers to knock on doors, maybe of a neighbor, just to find out if the person is okay. So it's a team effort.
Montreal's mayor calling for the public's help in keeping people safe from the heat. As of today, 18 deaths being blamed on those scorching temperatures. The worst Quebec heat wave in decades is expected to continue through tomorrow. It's quite the scene near downtown Vancouver today as police moved in to remove several anti-pipeline protesters dangling from a bridge. The group had been up there since early yesterday morning. It was organized by Greenpeace Canada, their goal being to block oil tankers from reaching the nearby Trans Mountain terminal. And on this 4th of July, at the base of the Statue of Liberty in New York, another police operation, a dangerous one, to rescue a protester. She was initially part of a larger group protesting U.S. immigration enforcement, but things escalated when she climbed the base of the statue and refused to come down. Then came an hours-long standoff, and when police finally decided to move in, the protester actually took off her shoes and socks and tried to climb higher. Fortunately, within minutes of that, the officers did convince her to come down, and after securing a harness on her, managed to guide her back to solid ground. Well, Toronto police have launched a new search at a property connected to alleged serial killer Bruce MacArthur. It is the same Mallory Crescent address where the remains of several men were found earlier this year.
You're gonna pace that out?
This time, they'll also explore the ravine behind the property where MacArthur had worked as a landscaper and stored his equipment. Police say this new dig could take weeks to complete since the terrain is thick with trees and undergrowth that have to be cleared out. The Toronto coroner was at the site today as well. And our Joanna Remiliotis has been on this story for us from the very beginning. She's at that Mallory Crescent location tonight. So, Joanna, why go back? What are police looking for?
Well, Andrew, they're looking for more human remains. They might belong to the human remains that have already been identified that were found in those planters that you referred to, because those remains were not complete sets. And there's one of the 8 men MacArthur is accused of killing. His remains have not been identified yet, so maybe they'll find his remains. Or they may find the remains of victims we haven't even heard of yet. Already, though, police have recovered items that were sent to the coroner for further testing, so it was almost expected that it would happen this quickly, because K9 unit was here, the police dogs that is, were here a couple of months ago, and they detected several areas that, that indicated police should take a closer look. You mentioned the ravine, the backyard as well. And the ravine is where police spent most of their day today. And in a way, being here, coming back here, is coming back to ground zero. This is where the investigation was centered in the wintertime. They waited for the ground to thaw, and then they looked at about 100 other properties, all clients of MacArthur's landscaping business, and found nothing significant. They even dug up at some properties and found nothing of significance. Coming back here, the expectation is they will find more evidence, and that's why, given the terrain and given the fact that the police dogs detected so many potential spots, that they expect to be here for several weeks.
And Joanna, talk to me about MacArthur himself. I mean, has he said anything about anything?
There's no indication that MacArthur is cooperating with police, and I think the fact that this investigation has been so exhaustive and so long speaks to that. The fact that police spent months, unprecedented amount of time in his apartment gathering evidence, the fact that they went through this long client list, the fact that they're back here now twice, suggests that MacArthur is not giving them any clues as to where they should look, and that's why they're focusing their time being as thorough as possible.
And one more thing, Joanna, I'm curious about the property owners themselves. I mean, they must have felt blindsided by all of this.
Well, they've told me, Andrew, that they feel like they've lived a nightmare. The owners have said they've compartmentalized it to go on. There is support, for sure, from their immediate neighbors and from the community in general, but there's also the rubberneckers who come, who consider this a freak stop, who come to take pictures and selfies. So it's been very difficult for them, no doubt.
Joanna Remiliotis reporting for us. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Still ahead on The National. An effective cancer treatment without the side effects of chemo or radiation. We will reality check the promise of immunotherapy.
Plus, a CBC investigation finds thousands of tickets this summer are being resold online at sky-high prices. Why laws that were meant to cap those prices in Ontario are rolling back.
And another Hollywood casting controversy. Should Scarlett Johansson play a trans man?
I think it's bad form on her part to take another role away from a trans actor who could use the work, use the exposure, portray a trans person more authentically.
When we fly and when we buy, we expect rewards. Call them points or miles. Worldwide, consumers have racked up an estimated 8 trillion, enough to make 300 million trips around the world.
I think a recent Economist article suggested it may be the second largest currency in the world after the US dollar is in fact loyalty points or miles.
Rob McLean used to run Canadian Airlines' frequent flyer program. Now he's head of points.com, where consumers can exchange their points in one program for another.
Now when you're shopping for gas at Esso, you may be able to convert those Esso extra points into Aeroplan miles.
Attractive for consumers with bulging banks of points. And according to Webflyer, which tracks points worldwide, they are being earned 4 times faster than they're being redeemed. Potential problem? Even if no more were awarded, it would take 23 years to use them up.
Yeah, I'm concerned. I'm afraid that if I don't use them, I'm going to lose them.
Not in Canada, according to Aeroplan.
You need exactly 25,000 points.
The country's largest frequent flyer program with 6 million members.
If I stopped the program today, it would take about 2 years for all of the points on average in people's accounts to be redeemed.
But the program won't stop, says Deschênes, because Aeroplan's partnerships with credit card companies and hotels make Air Canada hundreds of millions in revenues. But the looming prospect isn't lost.
If your liabilities of points are much bigger than your ability to redeem, then you're going to end up with a lot of unhappy customers.
And I know a lot of people that have trouble redeeming them because there's no seats available.
This business analyst says Air Canada tried to tighten up award levels and seats post-September 11th.
So Scarlett Johansson is one of Hollywood's most bankable stars. That's true. At this level, roles usually find her, and she often gets to decide just where her career goes next. And right now, it's headed right for controversy. She was recently cast in the upcoming film Rub and Tug. It's a dream role as a real-life transgender man who in the 70s became the head of a prostitution ring. But as Deanna Sumanak-Johnson explains, for some, casting Johansson in this role is more than just a missed opportunity. It's a theft of opportunity.
We can't even get the roles playing ourselves, so it's really just insult to injury.
Jesse Todd recently had his first acting gig, playing a role of a transgender man in a critically acclaimed short film, We Forgot to Break Up.
Hi, Coco.
But he hasn't worked since. It's a common fate for a trans actor.
Is this real? The director, I'm assuming, is drawn to this story because it's such a rich character and it's like such an interesting story. So why would you want to flatten that by casting someone like Scarlett Johansson?
You're exquisite. This might be why. When famous, non-trans actors play transgender characters, it seems to be a magic formula for the Oscars. Hilary Swank in Boys Don't Cry.
You want the truth, don't you?
Felicity Huffman in Transamerica.
After my operation, I will be a woman.
Jared Leto in Dallas Buyers Club.
Do you like this dress? Because I think the neckline's a little plunging.
The Canadian director of that film, Jean-Marc Vallée, says that casting should never be limited by an actor's gender identity.
We're pretending when we're working with actors. I'm working with actors. It doesn't mean that because I'm casting this type of role that I need to go to this type of person. This is the nature of acting.
Laverne Cox of Orange is the New Black is one of the few trans actors with name recognition. Some argue trans actors aren't famous enough to ensure box office returns. This filmmaker and actor who is transgender just isn't buying it.
I think that's a cop-out, a total cop-out on their part. They have the funds, the money, to make change, make an effort to put more exposure to trans voices.
But change may be on the horizon. The new series by Ryan Murphy, the creator of Glee, has a cast largely made of trans actors. And a new talent agency in California is specifically devoted to helping them get some major exposure. Deanna Sumanak-Johnson, CBC News, Toronto.
Concerns about cultural appropriation and access aren't confined to film or even Hollywood. Today, the Montreal Jazz Festival canceled one of its high-profile shows. Slave has been the subject of protests in recent days. Its acclaimed director is white, that's Robert Lepage, and it featured a white singer singing songs written by black slaves. This comes a day after prominent U.S. singer-songwriter Moses Sumney canceled performances at the festival over his concerns about Slave.
Still ahead on The National, two stories of Canadians taking matters into their own hands. First, Nick Purdon takes us to a local newspaper that was under threat of closure until the journalist decided to buy it.
And if you've ever had a favorite snack get discontinued, you can relate. Meet the Alberta woman who went to pretty wild lengths to bring back her mom's favorite chocolate bar.
I went on enough blogs and chat rooms to learn that the trademark was up for grabs. So I thought, you know, why don't we grab that?
As the pace of modern war speeds up, the motorcyclist becomes of more and more vital importance, not only for the carrying of messages, but for liaison and reconnaissance work. The highly mechanized Canadian Army was quick to recognize the importance of well-trained riders. The trick of easy starting is in the throttle and spark controls. When they're set right, the bike starts at the first kick. Well, sometimes. The open highway is the next step for the student riders. The valuable part of this experience is the frequent use of gears, the result of going at higher speeds. The various hand signals and other rules of the road are all a part of highway training. The machine must not be steered. Corners are taken by swinging the weight of the body to one side or the other. Life becomes more complicated as the students learn the art of bushwhacking. The trick in cross-country work is to stand up on the footrests, letting the knees take the shocks of uneven ground. In training dispatch riders especially, is this type of cross-country riding vital. For in wartime, roads become targets for artillery and bombers. And well known to every motorcyclist is the trick of tying a strong cable across the road. Riding a series of small ridges without leaving the ground teaches control of acceleration. On the upgrade, the riders lean well back to get traction. On the way down, they use the valve lifter to prevent compression in the cylinders. Water obstacles are all in the day's work. Streams up to 1.5 feet deep can be safely forded, as long as the throttle is wide open, speed being controlled by the clutch. If the engine stalls, the machine must be pushed clear before restarting. Loose sand is one of the most difficult surfaces for motorcycle riding. Even with skilled riders, skids and spills are frequent. So when these Canadian Army riders can negotiate successfully the ups and downs of the sand hills, they are ready to return to their units. Highly trained men possessing the confidence of sure knowledge. The trained dispatch rider is now ready to do his job, a job of vital importance, but one of great danger and bodily strain. An isolated infantry platoon has been ordered to attack at 0600 hours, but aerial reconnaissance has shown that the troops will advance into a trap. They must be warned. They must delay the attack until artillery fire is brought to bear. They've no wireless set. A runner wouldn't make it in time. The only way to reach them is by motorcycle. The message must get through, and the Don R sets out to get it through hell and high water.
This next story could strike an off note with Ontario music fans. Premier Doug Ford has shelved a previous Liberal bill that would have capped overblown ticket prices imposed by scalpers. The ban on so-called scalper bots, though, does stand. Those are the automated software applications that can buy huge blocks of tickets at lightning speed, but the ticket price cap is gone, for now at least. And as a joint CBC News Toronto Star investigation has discovered, this all comes when thousands of big summer concert tickets are being listed at now astronomical prices. Dave Seglins looks into it.
The song is by Radiohead. The band is Idiotech, a cover band among legions of fans looking forward to seeing the real Radiohead concert in Toronto later this month.
I don't go to a lot of big ticket events, but when I do, I'm always stressed that it's going to sell out before I get a chance to hit the button.
He got lucky and got tickets straight from the box office, but many others got shut out.
Part of the problem is that all these resellers are coming in and snatching up all the tickets, and then I'm forced to play their game or not go see one of my favorite bands.
Scalpers have been targeting Radiohead's sold-out shows in Toronto. Right now, there are hundreds of seats for resale at big markups. One ticket, face value $103, on SeatGeek for $1,900. And it's not just Radiohead. Foo Fighters, there's a $100 ticket on offer for $9,200. Or Bruno Mars, face value $100. Someone's asking, maybe dreaming of getting $13,000. All of this was supposed to become illegal under a new law in Ontario. It was in response to fans furious over the tragically hip farewell tour. Tickets sold out in minutes, and 3/4 of them wound up on scalper websites.
I declare the motion carried.
The former Liberal government imposed a series of changes, the most controversial, a price cap, making it illegal to resell tickets for more than 50% above face value.
I think Ontario is showing leadership by actually bringing a suite of measures that will create a level playing field for the fans.
It was all set to kick in on Canada Day, but with the new government under Premier Doug Ford, the price cap is on ice. A spokesperson saying the previous government attempted to institute a cap on ticket resales with no way to enforce it. We've paused the implementation of this section until we can review this. That's music to the ears of scalper websites. StubHub, which opposed the law from the start, says it is pleased by this move. Ticketmaster, which runs an expanding scalping side business, says this is a very rational and prudent decision made by the new government. How, or even whether, Ontario plans to deal with sky-high prices in future is now anyone's guess. But this Radiohead cover band has a partial fix. They're playing a show this week in Toronto dedicated to those who can't get in to see the real deal. Dave Seglin, CBC News, Toronto.
It's a little sad. Anyway, that's not the only policy from the previous Liberal government the Premier put on ice this week, at least for now. I mean, this is what new governments do. Anyway, Ford has halted new police oversight laws and put them under review, saying they hurt policing efforts. He has now frozen the salaries of public service managers pending a new payment strategy. That's something he promised on the campaign trail. Plus new rules that limit where Ontarians can smoke and vape medicinal cannabis, also on hold pending further study. And on top of all that, he's been on a bit of a firing binge. Ontario's chief investment officer, chief scientist, and business advisor all let go this week.
So a busy week so far for Ontario's new premier, and tomorrow's no different. He's set to have his first meeting as a provincial leader with the Prime Minister. According to his office, Justin Trudeau will travel to Queen's Park tomorrow afternoon. His meeting with Ford is set for 2 p.m. Eastern, but not revealed what the Prime Minister plans to discuss. And in the UK today, police expanded their investigation into a series of suspicious baby deaths. 2 hospitals are now part of the probe. The suspect has been identified by British media as 28-year-old nurse Lucy Letby. She was reportedly arrested yesterday on suspicion of murdering 8 babies.
It's a war going on at a microscopic level.
When you think cancer treatment, most people think chemotherapy, radiation, treatments that attack tumors. But increasingly, there is interest in another way, maybe as effective, maybe less toxic. Immunotherapy is that burgeoning other option. Some experts consider a turning point in the fight against cancer. And as Christine Birak found, results from clinical trials may be imperfect, but the promise is real.
You can see this tumor that is pretty sizable in your chest due to your melanoma. Compared to now, it has disappeared. So
it's not a miracle cure for cancer, but for specialists and patients alike, this is a remarkable moment in time.
I can see it's completely missing here.
How do you feel about that?
Completely happy about it.
Excellent. So you're on a treatment break right now.
Still in his 40s, Christian Voth had two cancerous tumors, the first next to his ear, another in his lung. After researching immunotherapy, Voth asked his doctor about entering a clinical trial, but never imagined that after just 6 months of infusions and pills, his tumors would disappear.
Immunotherapy is surprisingly non-awful, I guess is the best way to describe it.
Unlike radiation and chemotherapy, which target and kill cancer cells, immunotherapy works differently.
But immunotherapy, the target is actually the patient's own immune system. So we're trying to activate it, wake it up, to let the immune system fight the cancer.
While every cancer is different, they all have one thing in common: cells dividing out of control and hiding from the body's defenses. The immune system's job is to seek and destroy the invaders, but when it can't find them, you end up with a tumor. Immunotherapies try to boost the immune system to help it better recognize and attack the cancer cells. One class of drugs, called checkpoint inhibitors, take the natural brakes off immune cells, allowing them to find and continuously destroy invading cells until the tumor is gone. Just a few years ago, only 5% of patients with advanced melanoma survived 5 years. Now with immunotherapy, it's well over 50%. But there can be serious, even deadly side effects.
When you wake up the immune system, the body can attack the tumor, but the body can also attack itself. So you can get inflammation in different organs, for example, the lung, the bowels, the skin, where we call, what we call autoimmune toxicity.
Hi, Elsa.
Hi, Julie.
How are you?
I'm doing great.
Once immune cells are boosted, the hope is that they'll prevent cancer cells from growing and hiding out again. But 1 year after immunotherapy, Elsa Kahler's lung cancer is back.
It's given me that increment of time to live a year longer. I'm hopeful that it will give me the time to live until they find a cure, which again, I think is what the majority of us cancer patients hope for.
And what are you PCRing anyhow?
Researchers like John Bell and his team have been chipping away at immune therapies for decades without seeing any tangible results. Now their work is changing lives in real time.
There's never going to be one single pill that's going to cure everyone. We really have to find combinations of approaches.
Another type of immunotherapy, known as CAR-T, is being used to treat certain forms of blood cancer. After removing a patient's immune cells, scientists can genetically engineer or retrain them to seek out cancer cells. In a more recent discovery, researchers also found some tumors are being penetrated by powerful immune cells, but just not enough of them. American scientists removed some of those stronger immune cells from a dying breast cancer patient, grew 90 billion more in the lab, and pumped them back in. 2 years later, there is no sign of cancer in her body.
There's nothing guaranteed, but I think this field is so full of optimism because of the results we've seen that it's worth having people enroll in these studies if they can find one that suits them.
About 20 to 30% of cancer patients qualify for immunotherapy studies or trials. Kahler is trying again. She says her goal is to be resilient and continue growing in the face of uncertainty.
I don't call myself a fighter, but I call myself a believer.
For now, Voth has a clean bill of health, but he knows immunotherapy works for some patients and not others.
I have a son, and I want to make sure that, he gets to, grow up and be an independent, successful young adult. And I figured I needed at least 10 years for that. So hopefully I bought myself at least that.
Voth's father died of melanoma. Scientists say every patient who receives immunotherapy offers lessons for the next generation. Christine Birak, CBC News, Toronto.
So let's bring in someone who knows this topic well. Dr. Marcus Butler works at Princess Margaret Hospital. You have dealt with immunotherapy in the past, and I'm curious, listening to Christine's story, she referenced about 20 to 30% of patients for whom this might be appropriate. What sort of cancers does this really respond best to?
Well, cancers like melanoma, lung cancer, bladder cancer, Hodgkin's disease, immunotherapy has become part of the standard of care treatment of these patients. And the reality is that most patients don't benefit from immunotherapy if you look at all the statistics. So we do need clinical trials to extend this therapy to more types of patients.
And are you looking at it as potentially a first option or maybe another option down the road?
Well, you know, it's important for patients where the best treatment is immunotherapy to give that patient immunotherapy as a first line. So for melanoma, most patients will benefit from either targeted therapy or immunotherapy as first line. But other cancers where they have standard of care chemotherapy or targeted therapy where they'll benefit from that better should be treated with standard treatments. And then later on, they may be eligible for clinical trials looking at immunotherapy.
Okay, Dr. Butler, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Local papers help form a community's identity, but they're dying off. Next, Nick Purdon gets inside a Saskatchewan newsroom whose staff are putting their money where their values are.
It's like a mom and pop shop now. You know, everybody's in, like, you know, everybody's here working, everybody does their extra, it's blood, sweat, and tears sometimes.
At this appliance superstore in Bellingham, Washington, there's a splash of color to this upcoming Black Friday. Not just the poinsettias, but an expected flood of Canadian dollars.
There's a lot of money if you can.
Yeah, no kidding. Kate Grady is a happy man. The Washington state housing market may be in recession, but luxury brands are big sellers at this store.
If you were to look at our sales last year of high-end versus this year, it's, I would say, tripled. And if you look at where those are going, it's all going up to Canada.
That demand has literally changed the way this store looks. They've boosted the number of premium brands in these displays.
What we had initially thought of bringing in was even a lower price point, but you know, we looked at our Canadian statistics and said, you know, these are what's selling.
For Canadians, it's a perfect storm of proximity, parity, and prices set by manufacturers.
Most of your brands will have a minimum sale price, if you will. So they're going to say you're going to sell this appliance for X. In Canada, that X is traditionally higher than it is down here. So a Canadian coming down here on a package can save 20%. One package recently, it was a $10,000 savings.
And it's not just the big ticket items.
We get just a ton of Canadian clients.
For hairspray?
For hairspray.
And for this polish as well?
For polish and appliances are three items that we truly just fly off of our shelves. I mean, we definitely, those are probably like our #1 sellers. It's the OPI.
These cosmetics cost $8.50 here. In Canada, they sell for $10 to $12. Even small purchases are making a big difference.
Do you think it's helped stores like this during the American recession to be so close to Canada, or what impact has it had?
Yes, absolutely. I definitely think so. I think because you're still getting that demographic to come over the border and still shop with us. So even while maybe Americans are spending a little less, we're not seeing necessarily that the Canadians are spending less.
They're getting ready for Black Friday at this sporting goods store too, stocking up on a brand that was developed in Canada, Sorel's. With Vancouver's population 10 times as big as Bellingham's, it's not surprising Canadian tastes would have an impact here. It's the reverse of the U.S. elephant looming over the Canadian mouse, although the store manager prefers a different analogy.
The American economy is like a racehorse. It's either standing still or it's going too fast. The Canadian economy is more like, and I say this with all due respect, it's more like that workhorse or plow horse that just keeps going and does well. And so whenever the Canadian economy is good, we get more business, and it has been stable up there.
And so the biggest retail day in the U.S. will draw a lot of British Columbians. At the border just south of Vancouver, Black Friday is traditionally the busiest day of the year for Canadian cross-border shoppers. You will no doubt see pictures of department stores like this one opening at 4 a.m. to accommodate the rush. But some of the Canadians who are here on this day say you couldn't pay them to battle the crowds on Friday.
You guys coming down?
No.
Why not?
Don't like the crowds.
No, probably not. It would just mean it would be really crazy, and I prefer it a little quieter.
No, you're not going to get me to come down here for the worst shopping day of them all.
It's supposed to be the best shopping day.
Depends what you're in for. If you're in for the bargains or the lineups.
And hey, if he has a change of heart, there will be more bargains ahead. Ever mindful of the Canadian shopper, some stores here have added a sale that is not very familiar to many Americans.
It's no secret that newspapers are under siege. More people are getting their news online and taking advertising dollars with them. So as a result, hundreds of papers across the country have been forced to close down, cut back, or merge. Just last week, Post Media announced it is shuttering 6 local papers and halting the print editions of 3 others. And last December, Star News Publishing announced it was closing or selling all 13 of its newspapers in Saskatchewan. But instead of giving in, employees at one of those papers decided to put their livelihoods on the line and just save it. The Prince Albert Daily Herald has been around in one form or another since the 19th century. And as Nick Purdon explains, losing it would mean losing a piece of the community.
Good afternoon, Daily Herald. Hey, so what are you guys working on? Okay, your Crime Stoppers is filled?
Yeah, I think Sharon got the last spot filled today.
Right on.
Woohoo.
It's Tuesday morning at the Daily Herald in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan.
I was thinking the logo is simple, it's easy, quick and easy to do.
The sales meeting is underway, and the agenda is really pretty simple. Sell enough ads in the upcoming grad edition to keep the paper afloat.
So like these are the ones for 3, these are for 5, and then...
It's a keepsake, full color, 24 pages.
We have to make sure we make money on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
The reality is newspapers are dying all over the world. And this past winter, Prince Albert's Daily Herald was on the brink. But then something incredible happened. To save the paper, the employees bought it and took it over.
That was a little scary at first, but it's actually really exciting. From day one when I started here 8 years ago, I've always loved it here. I've always enjoyed coming here, and I didn't want to see it going anywhere, that's for sure.
The question I have is, if big media companies fail, how is a group of everyday employees going to make a paper profitable?
So, Jason, I'm having you go on the conference call at 1 with the Premier. Premier's meetings.
Not surprisingly, the day begins with the reporters getting together to figure out what to put in the paper.
At 5, there's a recognition event for youth volunteers. It's at Pineview, I think. I sent you that too.
But there's a difference now. The push since the takeover is to keep stories more local than ever.
Game was last night, right?
The idea being if people in Prince Albert see themselves reflected in the pages of the Herald, they'll buy it.
This is the different list than you were working off before.
There are other differences too. Where else would you find the paper's new publisher training the new sales rep on the accounting software?
So how come not everybody is on that list?
Because not everybody does Easy Pay. We're not corporate. We don't have all the overhead. We don't have all that. It's like a mom and pop shop now. You know, everybody's in, like, you know, it's not just jobs. It's our life.
And that's because this isn't just any paper. The Daily Herald and the town of Prince Albert have been together for a long time, more than 120 years. And in that time, PA, as the locals like to call it, has grown to be the 3rd largest city in the province. More than 35,000 people call it home.
Cool.
Jason moved to Prince Albert 3 years ago. When it's time for him to head out, I follow him out the door.
So what's the assignment?
There is a group in Prince Albert that's giving awards to some volunteer students. It's one of those moments that is really important to the community because most big media outlets don't come down here and cover this stuff, right? That's definitely one of the more enjoyable parts of the job.
When the Herald was up for sale and the rumors were that it was going to close, Jason got calls from other papers. He chose to stay.
It's not a step I ever thought I would have to take in media. I never thought that I'd have to be part of a group that would buy a paper to keep it alive.
With his salary, Jason says he can't afford to invest in the paper yet, but he's doing his bit nonetheless.
I just don't get paid as much as I used to, is essentially what happens with me. But it's worth it. I mean, I don't regret doing it. No one put a gun to my head and told me I had to stick around and be a part of this. It's something I did willingly, and it's something that that I'm glad to do.
Families, everyone, the staff, we all appreciate the work of our youth volunteers.
Can I get you all to just look at me real quick? And 1, 2, 3. Thank you very much for taking the time.
Oh, thank you so much for being here to cover this. This is so fantastic.
So how'd it go?
Pretty good, actually. It was one of those events where everyone's always happy to see us. A lot of people.
Jason grew up in Saskatoon and has lived in small towns all over the province.
I've lived in communities where the rink has gone, the school has gone, the grain elevators have been torn down. Like, I've been in communities where they lost all this stuff and they don't recover. I'm not trying to be super negative here, but it's so hard to recover from that stuff. And so, you know, to lose something big like a newspaper, I mean, it's something you just never want to see.
How many of these a day do you do?
25, 27, 28,000.
Let me see your hands. How do they feel?
Good. Yeah, I like doing this. Yeah.
All winter, Brenda worried about her job. Since the employees took over, that's safe. But she tells me that actually the biggest change is that now she feels part of something.
What kind of decision is that for a group of employees to step up and buy a paper?
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. For them to step out like this, and I'm excited because this group of people, if anybody can pull this off, it's going to be them. Yeah, they're going to do it. Yeah, we're going to do it.
When everyone involved in a business is on board, that's got to give you a chance at success.
This was way better.
Still, Donna believes the paper will only survive if they follow her new golden rule.
For these here, there's the landscapes. I'd like always a picture of a person on the front.
Yes, I try.
Okay.
Some days.
Because we need the faces in the paper, right?
Yep.
50 faces?
50 faces.
Yep, that's our policy. Right, Jason? How many faces?
50 faces.
Alrighty.
I can tell you tomorrow, I'm putting the youth volunteers on the front.
That's excellent.
I'll pass.
We want the community to be involved with their stories and their sports and the schools. That's how it used to be. And that's where it needs to be again. And that's how I think it can make it work, is just giving the paper back to the people.
Hi.
Hi, Peter. So, yeah, today.
Good.
And it seems to be working, because a local woman arrives at the paper with a story to tell.
They said from day one, no money out of your pocket. When you win something, that's what the prize is.
Jerry Lavallee's story is that she won a car in a contest, but they kept trying to get her to pay up front.
I already paid for the calendar.
Right.
You know, like, really.
All right, I'm gonna grab my camera and I'll get you to step outside here. We'll go outside. It's a nice sunny day.
Oh, beautiful. We go back a long way.
Why did you turn to the local paper?
Well, I figured they like community stories, and I figured that I'm from PA. I've been here all my life, and I wanted people in town to know.
What does the paper mean to you?
Well, we look forward to it every day. We have been subscribers forever and ever. Our kids were carriers when they were young. It just means a lot. I'm so glad that the employees took it over and kept it open, and it's very important. It keeps you kind of in touch with your town.
What does a town lose when the paper shuts down?
There's no connection anymore. Like, it's just a sad thing. It's like losing your best friend.
A small group of employees running a paper when media corporations can't?
Oh my God.
Okay, it's missing a 6.
Seems like a David and Goliath pipe dream. But then you see it. Maybe reconnecting with their community, like the folks at the Herald are working so hard to do, can be a blueprint to stop newspapers closing across the country.
Okay, thanks a lot. Bye-bye.
All right,
Nick Purdon, CBC News, Prince Albert, Saskatchewan.
Monday. Yeah, good for them. The Herald is not the first local news organization to be purchased by its employees. That distinction goes to Check TV on Vancouver Island.
Check TV has been sold and is now not only your island's owned, but your island's owned.
Check employees saved their station after CanWest put it on the chopping block in 2009. They pooled their money, found investors in the community, and struck a last-minute deal to buy it. 9 years later, Check is still producing nightly television newscasts with a focus on local news.
Indeed they are. And a reminder that you can find us and the work of all our journalists on your social feeds. Find powerful images on Instagram, exclusive video on Facebook, and hey, you can send us a tweet at CBC The National.
Is your closet packed with stuff destined for the donation bin? Most of us barely even wear the stuff we have before we go out and buy something new. In fact, we're buying about 70 new garments every single year. So do the math. For a family of 5, that works out to buying a new piece of clothing almost every single day of the year.
Donating your old clothes to charity might make you feel better than putting them in the trash, but the reality is nobody needs your old college sweats. It's called the clothing deficit myth. A lot of us think that when we donate our clothes to charity, they're actually going to someone in need. But it's more likely that your clothes are going to end up in the garbage. Every year, more than 25 billion pounds of textiles end up in North American landfills. Here's some of the reason why. We're buying 400% more clothes than we did in the 1980s. Stores are rapidly restocking. Some even bring in new clothes every other day. Experts say we can thank fast fashion for this. We can buy way more for way less. Those buying habits lead to millions of pounds of unwanted clothes in donation centers. Charities sell or give away what they can, but the rest is sold to a middleman, a company you've probably never heard of, with a warehouse the size of football fields, sorts and then distributes your unwanted clothes. That middleman sells those clothes to developing countries. Kenya was Canada's top customer for secondhand clothes in 2016. But forget one man's trash is another man's treasure. These countries, they don't need our cast-offs. What they can't use or sell ends up in landfills or burned. So why not just recycle our old clothes? Because it's super hard. Most of our stuff is made with blended fabric, so they don't break down easily. Take your favorite skinny jeans, for example. They're made with cotton and elastane. It's actually cheaper to make a new pair of jeans than take the material from your old ones and reuse and recycle it. And get this, nearly 4,000 liters of water go into making a new pair of jeans. So what can you do? Well, experts say even before you donate, you've got to find a way to give your clothes a longer life. So consider having a clothing swap. Maybe give your cast-offs to friends or family, someone who's going to get use out of it.
This is the Cuban lunch. It's a thick bar of chocolate chock full of peanuts that used to be huge in Western Canada. So when one Alberta woman discovered it had been discontinued, she didn't just try to make it herself, she started mass producing it, all because it's her mother's favorite chocolate bar. And her labor of love is our moment of the day.
So I thought, there's got to be a way to bring it back. I went on enough blogs and chat rooms to learn that the trademark was up for grabs. So I thought, you know, why don't we grab that? We started making it at home. Recipes we just sourced online. It's about that thick. 65 grams and chocolate and peanuts. When someone's in care, there's so few things that just light up their day. She's had a few. Yes. Yes, and she loves them, right? And we'll sit and talk business. And she'll eventually go, can I just have that chocolate bar? It's a love offering, basically.
And the thing that's startling about all of this is that she doesn't even actually have a background in food. She had to learn, and so she got the trademark, figured out the recipe, got the packaging, has a factory that'll mass produce these things, so it's pretty wild.
I've never heard of this beautiful thing. I know only that I want one and that I really want to hear what my pal has to say because I figure it's a lot.
Okay, so also in Western Canada, at one point, Old Dutch got rid of Mexican chili chips. Anyone that knows Western Canada knows this. There was a petition that, see, look at the deliciousness. There was a petition, which my sister and I both signed, and Old Dutch finally bowed down. They gave us back the Mexican chili chips. Taste them if you live somewhere and you see them. Grab them. That's all I have to say.
All thanks to you.
Well, partly me. That's the National for Wednesday, July 4th. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.